This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Thanks.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here with me I have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Nothing I can say can really top, you know, what is going on in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment and their new deal they signed with Netflix. Besides that, just put out my song Enough. Just dropped like a little visualizer for it today. Getting the ball rolling on that. So you guys can check it out on my YouTube channel and all that. But besides that, what's up with you, man?
Not too much. Actually did some niece, uncle, like workout program, what do you want to call it? Like, so, or not workout program, but like some help program. So like Sarah and Marcus were swamped. So like, and Jocelyn was super sick. So I ended up watching her today. And like, It's funny when you were a kid, you remember this, like you felt sick and then like all of a sudden like, oh, I'm staying home. I feel a little bit better. And like, you know, you were sick when you're around the kids, you know, that like they sick as a dog when like they are just like, they not themselves. You don't even see slivers of them. And luckily for her, like she got a nasty cough. So like she's coughing, you can just hear it come out of her lungs. Right. So it's like, you look at that cough. Otherwise I'd have took your ass to school. But because like after about like the first hour she was low key, and then around like after I gave her some lunch, she was like, "Oh, I feel good," or "I feel kind of good." And he's like, "Oh, I see you. You're looking like yourself. You don't like to go out here and get 30 and 15 right now. All right." So, but yeah, she ended up having to go to the doctor. So, or like 4. So after that, like I pretty much had to like cram everything else I had that I would normally do in a day, like into like an hour and then get to the gym. But yeah, spending some time with, you know, the kids, it was always fun. Cause you know, like, I think I told you, like, it was a weird situation I was in, like, this mentally, like just, I don't even know if I feel right calling it depression, but just like, just not seeing anybody except for like talking to you on One Nation Radio. I just like to the house, to myself, just not reaching out to people. So like, I'm glad that like a lot of these relationships that like I felt I fucked up are getting better or weren't fucked up at all. So I don't even know I'm even talking about this on the podcast, but anyway.
Hey, I mean, you know, I'm right there with you. You know, like I work at home. Catherine works at home, and like I'm in a new place, so I don't really have too many incentives to really go out there. But I was out this past weekend with your cousin Alex, and I saw Spiro, who I hadn't seen in quite a while, and was kicking with him and MP and Diaz and stuff like that, and Bam. So it was cool. I was walking around the mall. I was like, man, I feel like a human again.
Which mall?
We were at Perimeter.
Okay.
So you know, because Spiro was kind of iced out. I didn't know if like Lennox was like the spot, you know, for that.
I mean, until you get through the metal detectors.
Yeah.
It's not until you get through the metal detectors.
Yeah. So I was like, not today. But lot of stuff going on. We might as well jump right into the big news. WWE Raw announcing a deal with Netflix coming January 2025. They are leaving traditional cable and they're going to Netflix, the first time that they've put one of the major properties, pretty much their biggest property, onto a streaming network. This kind of follows the pattern, I think, of some of their other deals where it's like there's a huge amount of money attached to it. There's some conglomerate that they've, convinced them to give them this money. And it's like, in what chance do they have of like making this money back for them? And you really can't explain it if you start like trying to put it together, but it don't matter because the money is made and they ran to the bank and they started cashing these checks and then the stock market started moving. So basically, so Variety initially reported the deal was worth $400 million annually and believed to run more than 5 years. Sports Business Journal says that the deal's for 10 years and more than $5 billion in total value. Netflix has an out after 5 years, so there's a little bit of a football contract funny money element to this. We'll see, but 5 years is more than enough time to make your money. So they are up and away. Like this is like, look, I was like, yo, you don't leave the 35-year time slot or whatever just because it's like this creature of habit. And then it's like, where do the new fans come from? But they took the money this time. Yeah.
I mean, you've long felt that way, and I felt that way too until I saw that price tag, and I was like, well, I mean,
I guess today's the day to update.
Yeah, when you almost double the TV money, it was already ridiculous that they was getting anyway. It's like, hey man, like, y'all sure y'all don't want to call this World Netflix Entertainment? Like, they could have named the damn company, renamed the company for that kind of money. So, or you could be like, Netflix presents WWE. It could have been some shit like that.
Right, we are Netflix, and this is WWE.
Right, full roughing. Yeah, full day. Yeah.
So this is like affects like international as well as Canada, UK, Latin America, and then other countries over time. I would assume as the worldly TV deals expire, it'll probably be folded into this thing.
You can imagine, yeah.
And this is, they're gonna do documentaries. Of course, they're going to talk about Monday Night Wars for the millionth time.
They're getting international pay-per-view as well, right? Or PLE, right?
I believe so. I haven't read the official press release, but their Peacock deal does not expire until like 2026. Okay, if I'm not mistaken. So I would assume Netflix would then
absorb it,
jump on that, but who knows? This adds to the if you were afraid of the television companies the wrestling companies getting over insulated by money, this is a bad day. This is like this puts WWE in a different class from like WWE yesterday. Like the money's not all that different and all that, but it takes them off of cable and allows them to kind of set the trend now, because I think it's about who does it first, and I think if WWE being the ones, basically the industry leader is like, okay, yeah, it's okay to jump into streaming now. So naturally, I think eyes would turn towards AEW, and it's like, all right, what route are they gonna go? Like Andrew Zarin was talking about maybe some type of dual deal, like where it's like the NBA where they stream on the app simultaneously with cable. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but now it's like almost a television deal isn't enough. It feels like the wrestling business has changed today forever at this point.
I can see that. But WWE is so singular compared. I mean, AEW too is. Well, you can't have two things being singular. That's not a point. But like, they're so outsized from the rest of what pro wrestling is, that it's like, it's kind of hard to tell. if this is a trend or not. And also, a lot of these places, there was talk years ago of like Lucha Underground moving to streaming. There's been talk about,
they used to be on
AEW.
Netflix, have all the episodes.
Right. So it's like, as far as like if they were ever going to get that new season, it never came when everyone got out the deal and got to NXT or AEW. So, I just, I'm not sure. It could be like, to be honest, as big as the roster is, depending on if Raw stays at 3 hours or moves back down to 2, I imagine it still stays at 3 because they still have the eyeballs to watch stuff. So
it's that in the hours.
That's what I meant as far as eyeballs time, the watching time, because it's all about screen time for them. So like I imagine that like it can be cool with like, all right, we still have the A show on TV, and we can worry about what Raw looks like in 5 years from now. We can worry about like the live show attendance and all that kind of stuff for that 5 years from now. But like we finna take this bank, and after 5 years, it still has the brand name, still has the run time, whatever else. They can bring it back and put it back on. Like obviously not the same thing as being off TV, but like it was on TNN, and then they put it back to USA. I forgot how long that was, but like it's obviously a bigger jump from going off of TV altogether than moving networks. But like, I think they'll be like, worst comes to worst, they don't want us after 5 years, which is probably the most likely outcome. We'll take it right back to cable. We'll put this bitch on Sci-Fi. We don't care. Or you'd be like, we'll sell it to a network because what do you got on Monday? Because we sold it to some sucker on Friday nights one time. We can sell the one with the bigger tradition and colors that people remember for longer. And
man, like now Raw going to Netflix, it was real funny to see that logo, and that shit just say WWE Raw. That shit don't say WWE Monday Night Raw on it. It don't say Monday Night Raw and any of this stuff. This is WWE Raw. So what's stopping them from changing Monday?
That's true, but they've also changed the names of it before. They put Monday Night in and out of it before over the years, plenty of times. So it's almost them like those Disney TV shows where it's like after 3 seasons they change the name of the show while keeping the name kind of similar, so that like they don't have to pay royalties to people on or not. What do you call it? Not royalties, but oh my god, Residuals. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so it might be that kind of thing for all we know. Who knows?
So they, there's been talk like of the start date for SmackDown, because when they go to USA, I don't think they're going to stay on Fridays or anything. There was a date that was looking like, maybe they move to a Tuesday, possibly. They've still got NXT also.
To NXT on whatever day it gets.
Yeah, and Raw, like, that's my original point, like, they can put them wherever the fuck they want. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're head to head with AEW at a certain point. Even though, I saw a lot of people trying to celebrate the demise of the ratings talk and stuff like that. Here's how it works.
Because like AEW to a lot of these people shouldn't exist, and like they'll still have ratings. So it will still happen. It may not happen as far as the back and forth pissing contest between WWE Monday Night Raw went up against somehow like Monday Night Football got a good game for once, and like it's gonna suck for them. It's not gonna be one of those, but it'll still be the AEW did this, but never mind the part where like it was number 1 the demo. It'll do one of those again. It'll be that. It'll never change.
It will reform in some bigger and bolder kind of way. And
it'll evolve like Pokemon.
If you thought that some of those WWE numbers that were coming off on Peacock, say, yeah, this is the, X amount of million people have watched Peacock. This is the biggest thing in Peacock history. I mean, it's like, all right, what do you compare that to? The Netflix press releases are going to be ridiculous. They're going to be like 15 million hours of Monday Night Raw were watched this past month. And it's like, huh? Like, and like all to prepare for outrageous lies. Coming from this shit.
Rich, also,
there is no way to check any of this.
That's true. Also, the part that's like funny to me is like the ratings war shit's done with. I'm sorry, I thought that SmackDown was going to USA Network where they do ratings. So what? There's just less ratings, but there'll still be ratings nonetheless. So what are we talking about?
Yeah. People
it'll happen 2 times a week.
Terrified of data. Terrified of numbers.
3 times a week instead of 4 times a week. That's what really is going on.
Yeah. I think
look, I'm sorry. I said, look, I didn't mess with the numbers when I pointed, but look, it'll be 3 times instead of 4. You know, people, if you watch my stream and be like, he put the wrong numbers up.
Oh yeah, because this is the clip.
Yeah, don't get me.
Break the fourth wall.
Yeah, don't get me.
But I think if you're affiliated with WWE, you're in that board, and we'll transition that into the next bit of news because I find this hilarious. This is a day to be popping champagne, like Ron Browse used to say. Bro, like I know we had talked about the group chat. It's like, yeah, they should have fired Vince like 10 years ago and stuff like that. And from a creative standpoint, shit, you could probably go even longer than that. Mm-hmm. But now it looks like from a business standpoint, I don't know if it was necessarily Vince holding them back, but he damn sure wasn't getting them in the rooms that Nick Khan is, and whatever the hierarchy is right now.
Yeah. I think I said it to you, but just based off of the TV deals that Nick Khan has gotten for SmackDown and Raw, the last go round, and then this go round now for NXT, for SmackDown and for Raw this time, people talk about putting executives that are not Vince into the Observer Hall of Fame. Nick Khan kind of has to go in unequivocally now. There's nothing to debate. He signed the most lucrative TV deals. How many in the top 10 are him? Are all of them him at this point? It's yeah, man, he's got to go in there. He's Patrick Mahomes to the shit. We ain't never seen nothing like this before. So
bro, this man walked in and was like, "Yeah, we about to switch all this shit up."
Yep.
And this would not be One Nation Radio if I didn't float some conspiracies.
Oh, here we go.
I just want to know who snitched on Vince. Because I feel like I can start pointing fingers.
I mean,
I feel like look, it was the call came from inside the house.
Well, okay, so snitch which time though? Which time in particular are you talking?
I mean, when he got the doors, there's a few elements.
So the sexual misconduct,
they kicked the doors, yes.
Sexual misconduct. All along
somebody knew where
go ahead.
Somebody knew where the bodies were buried.
Right.
The Triple H, Stephanie departure, re-arrival, Vince McMahon vote off and back on the island.
Yeah.
Who did this? There's only 3 people.
Yeah, so I think, after seeing the maneuvers of him reinstalling himself, Stephanie being sent out after being an award winner for her work and everything, it was always, for me, it seemed like most logical conclusion was Stephanie and Hunter both tried to get him out of there and it didn't work. And they were about to be ousted, and then luckily, everything else happened, and then Vince sold his company, and he ended up falling out of favor after selling his company because he's incompetent at his job at this point. So yeah, that's kind of what it is.
I think he had to know though. I think him selling the company was you are going to basically eat the shit, essentially. You can't run this anymore. However, Triple H will come back. We'll allow him back, basically. Stephanie, you're going to step because maybe you were ready to go anyway. And basically, I'll sell or whatever, but I'll return to rehab my image or whatever. I think there's a bunch of nasty shit that we will never know, unfortunately, because someone's never going to write a book about it.
Right.
I wish they would.
NDAs.
Yeah.
So, man, there's definitely something to that. There's definitely some secession going on backstage. It's been going on for the last couple years there with all this stuff. So yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back further than that. You can go back to 2019 when Vince set Triple H up for that L. Yeah, we're gonna put you on 2 hours ahead of time to go, and we're gonna leave you in the LA Fitness to go against Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega and Dean Ambrose. I'm sorry, John Moxley. Yeah. Good luck. Good fucking luck. Yeah.
But it's a big day in WWE history today. So they're out of reach. Like they're so big business wise. Like, it's like.
That was the thing that was always so funny to me, was like when people were like, yeah, can A, when the ratings were close or whatever else, or the demos were relatively close, it's like, can AEW surpass WWE? No. That's not
like that's not the arena they're competing in. Like if it gets close on the ratings or whatever, like they're competing for the creative aspect of this shit, the shit that we care about as fans, like what's better, different stuff like that. And you can talk about which side's better all you want or whatever.
Rich,
but like in a business sense, this shit is a fucking like WWE fucks their way up into making money. So like it's
AEW started 1/13 the size of WWE. Like, I don't know what you thought this was going to be in like 5 years time. Like, what were you thinking if you thought they were actually going to, like, this is going to become some Nitro Raw thing where like Nitro is going to beat Raw for 83 weeks or whatever else. Like, those companies are actually close. These aren't, or relatively close. These aren't. So it's just. Nah, never. I never entertained this. I'm watching AEW because I think it's the better TV show, and in WWE, while still being a better product, or TV shows today, it's still like there's too much stuff that's really good around the world for me to spend my time plugging 3 hours of my life into at this point. I can watch the big shows. I can watch stuff on YouTube from here and there, and if something happens, I can be interested in a match or whatever else that's great that I hear good things of. But like outside that, I just can't do it. So yeah, it is what it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with WWE as far as like the thoughts of their demise or AEW was ever going to overtake them. It's never going to happen. Like, sorry, Universal or Islands of Adventure and Six Flags is never overtaking Disneyland in Disney World. It's never happening. Sorry.
Too many businesses now have a vested interest in seeing WWE succeed now.
Yes.
Like, and also like they have decided Vince McMahon is still a part of this, right? They have decided that is not outweigh the juggernaut or whatever that's like the business.
Yeah. They'll get Vince out or outlast Vince until he's compromised or whatever else to uphold the institution. Like, we are at a point in the world where it's like these institutions don't crumble. Like the gap in wealth widens. It doesn't shrink. That's not how this works. Like, have you been watching the news over the last decade? It's not getting closer. The gap is widening, right? Like, there's a reason why billionaires gained more billions during the pandemic.
So in other news or related news,
there's also a reason why rent is up everywhere.
Yeah. So in other news, related news, Dwayne Johnson was named to the TKO board of directors, and he's regained full ownership of the Rock nickname as part of the deal. James?
Yeah. Do I switch now? Go
ahead and switch.
I'll go ahead and switch. All right. Yep.
Yeah. So, this thing, I found this funny for lots of reasons. One of them, Triple H is now the owner of D-Generation X. Two men who tried to undermine
The Rock is.
him.
He said the Rock is.
Excuse me. Yes, The Rock is the owner of D-Generation X.
Yeah.
Two men that tried to undermine his career from the day he showed up. Petty rivalries, jealousy, bullshit. When they walk in, they need to address him as Sir. The Rock, Sir. Mr. Rock. Pick one of them. I don't care which one. They This is funny. Like, and this comes kind of as Rock is seeing his Hollywood days. I think it's fair to say we've seen the peak of the Rock in Hollywood. Like, as he comes down from that a little bit, he's back into business in a bigger way, pretty much as big as a way as you can ever be. Now, instead of like rolling Vince McMahon out with Ari Emanuel, they roll The Rock out. Somebody who makes people feel good.
Yep. Somebody
who like is an ultimate carny and worker and will lie in your face, but make you feel good about it.
Yep.
Like, this now, Rock's, I think, 53 years old. Of course, there's been the whole thing with him possibly, wrestling in the main event this year. I'm here to tell y'all, and we told y'all before, he's not showing up for no Australia. Like,
yeah, that came out last week, right?
Yeah, man. And now, from a standpoint of, you watched Cody Rhodes last year, you were invested in, hoping he would come back to face Roman Reigns. I'm here to tell you literally, and I don't think it has ever been more fitting. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you want great matches, you want fulfilling stories. None of it matters. There's just so much money tied up in this. The Rock can just drop in and decide, the main event is Rock versus Roman, and it's going to make $1 bajillion. Not that, Rock and Roman wouldn't, or excuse me, Cody and Roman wouldn't. It's just, these are factors that are out of Cody Rhodes' control.
Right.
Like,
and he has like, Cody has like, it's funny because Cody left AEW more or less because like CM Punk took his spot, and then like he showed the WWE. And like now, like Cody has CM Punk's spot from 2012 through 13.
Sick.
Get out the way, ho.
Sick. Absolutely sick.
Hey man, like Cody is a terrible politician, bro. There ain't no politicking this. There is not a soul. There is not a soul outside of maybe Stone Cold Steve, instead of Stone Cold Steve Austin that would not have gotten moved out the way for The Rock going into WrestleMania 40, the main event. Not a soul. So like, it don't matter how much you like him. It's a business decision that you just can't do it. And we've dealt through this with Rock a decade ago with CM Punk, literally. Like, so, this ain't this. I feel bad for Cody. However, he laid out this thing of
this is one of the endings in the simulation.
Yep.
The 1 out of 100 times he got this ending.
Yep. The video game fucked him. Yep. Absolutely. Because these are things that are bigger than him as just a guy that was a mid-carder, lower mid-carder, leaves, becomes a star on his own, with the help of other people, becomes a star in his own right, builds, the most viable, number 2, or the most successful number 2 company in the history of American Pro Wrestling, and leaves, and then like becomes the number 1 hero on number 1 promotion in the world.
And look, how much of that Monday Night Raw kind of like because this guy's worked a hellacious schedule for 2 years.
Yeah.
On Monday Night Raw, been kind of like the cornerstone of that shit. Yep. I know motherfuckers gonna say, Seth Rollins been the champion. Not really. Like, we know what this means.
He's the champion because Cody realizes for his story it makes no sense for him to hold that whole ass belt.
Correct. And like the
guess
guy
what
that's
he's
been
gonna
holding
have
that
to
shit
do?
up.
And guess what he's gonna have to do? Hold that whole ass
Cody,
belt.
and then it made Netflix be like, I don't want to directly link it to Cody, but it's like, he held that shit up, the last couple years or whatever, and now they're selling Raw to Netflix, and like,
yep,
yeah, James in the comments,
I see it.
It's time, James.
Put that shit on.
I might have to actually play the song.
I mean, look, I'll send it to you again if you need.
I got it.
Oh, okay. No, I meant like the meme that I made with everything and all that.
Oh, yeah. Cody, it is time for you.
Wake up.
To get that belt from Seth Rollins.
Chase Davis on the beat, yeah. Put that shit on.
Yes. Somebody check on Teal Rhodes. Somebody check on Brandy Rhodes. Somebody check.
Stop. Don't go further.
On Dustin Rhodes.
Okay. I thought you first started leaving outside of the Rhodes family on checking on people like certain super fans. I'm like, please don't go there. Please don't go there. Please. Actually bookmark one of them super fans because like they going through it and I've been following the whole thing all year as far as the whole things they've been. And I'm just like, hey man. Yeah, it's gonna get real nasty. And no, I'm not talking about Floyd. In case y'all wonder, because I'll tell Floyd to his face. I be telling Cody, I'm like, hey, bro, Floyd, you gotta stop, man. It's gonna end up bad for you. It's gonna Cody.
Floyd know what it is.
Has Floyd procured WrestleMania tickets yet?
I would think so.
Floyd,
I don't know.
Floyd, hold on. I can't zoom. Hold on. Floyd Johnson Jr., if you are thinking of going to WrestleMania and you have not bought tickets yet, do not go. Do not set yourself up for that L. Look, I know you like Rock. I understand. I know you like Rock. And who don't like Rock? But you have rode with Cody Rhodes all out of WWE and then back to WWE. They did you dirty last year after you spent that good money. Don't do it. Don't do it. The only way you can go is if Cody himself messages you via someone you know and say, "Hey, they done promised me, then put it in paper or some shit like that." Outside of that, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't
save it for double or nothing,
bro. This a dead look. You gonna end up looking like them Momo Watanabe fans to Stardom. Don't. It's a dead agenda. I know you can be like, well, Momo Watanabe, she's a mid-carder. And this is a top guy. He is a top guy, but he ain't gonna be the top guy that night. I can guarantee you that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please don't do it.
I took lots of pleasure in ranking on Cody Rhodes for many years on this show. Y'all all know that.
Oh, I mean,
I take no pleasure in this. Like this is like wow. This is just like like it was like the fucking eventually fucked. It eventually happened to him. Like it eventually happened to him.
They coming up
and it's like, well, are you going to be Ric Flair and jump back over? Because I feel like at the Royal Rumble is this Saturday. I will be in town, James. I think you're traveling, but I will be in town as that's happening.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes needs to walk directly up to Paul, Triple H, Hunter Levesque, whatever the fuck he's calling himself these days, if he hasn't signed that deal. And he needs to use the line on the man himself, am I fucking going over? And if he says no, he needs to not sign that shit and then hit the road. Or else be prepared to get it like the Red Cross for another 365 days while your body goes through that house show schedule again. Look, man, this is nasty. Like we talk about nasty scenarios, nasty man, and then we haven't even got to the other part of this.
No, before we move on,
if Rock wrestles, that means Roman's keeping the fucking belt.
Yep. Show is. And that match ain't gonna have no chance of being good neither.
That shit gonna suck.
That shit gonna stink. Look, so people are saying, you mentioned like Cody, he should, if you don't, ain't gonna work out his favor, he should go back to AEW. And my question is, why? Because like last I checked, if he can't be the world champion in WWE, he can't be the world champion anywhere because he shot that stupid fucking angle in AEW in his first few months in the company on Dynamite, and it ruined his chance forever. And then he said, I want to finish the story. Bro, the only place he can finish this particular story is over there.
Scott DeBoer, where you at? They need more help for New Japan Pro Wrestling, I hear. Can they try? Can he wrestle Nick Nemeth or Moose, for the TNA belt, or
man, he was the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion at All In. After All In, the first one, we didn't care. That shit didn't count.
Shit don't count.
That's not a major promotion.
Oh, that was a regional belt.
Yeah, this ain't 1988. Get the fuck out of here.
Look, he goes back to AEW. It's even more crowded and competitive than when he was there the last time. And there's a new crop of guys that is like, hold on, you're going to try to push Cody over who? At this point?
Look, Cody with his...
he might be better off sticking where he's at and accepting his fate.
Because here's the thing, right? The way they carve out time for a Edge, for a Sting, they will absolutely find that for Cody, because Cody is absolutely, has proven himself to be at the top promotion in the world. He has proven himself to be the top hero in actual draw. If he takes his ass to AEW, he will mean more to AEW coming back at this point than he did even when he was at the beginning. That's how important this run was for him in AEW. In WWE, he proved something. The problem is, how do they put themselves to that particular quarter where he can never be the champion? And the only way this works is, all right, Cody, last time you did this, and then you played this little hissy fit about not wrestling any of the other main eventers because you didn't want to put them over to get them in line for the world title because you never will be world champion. Now, cut the shit. You're a main eventer. Wrestle other main eventers. That's the actual path towards this. If he comes back to AEW,
I think they would go back on that stipulation in a heartbeat.
I don't believe that. The only way you can do it, there's only certain ways you can do it, and it will have to involve Chris Jericho and or MJF to be able to get out of it. Because he got screwed in that particular with those two, and when it happened, those are the only way you can go back on it. If they want to do that, sure, but they have to actually put in the work to do it. But outside of that, they can't just put it on and be like, yeah, he's back. He's here for 3 months. Give him the title. They can't do it like he's Ospreay coming in or some shit like that.
I have people in the comments saying Cody wanted to be a gatekeeper. Cody doing that was stupid. Okay, I don't know if you guys were listeners of One Nation Radio at this time. This was a gimmick.
Right.
This was not real. Like him not being able to challenge for the belt. He was never gonna be the champion. That was his gimmick.
Explain. Hold on, you got to explain why. You got to explain the first 4 champion thing.
Yeah. So they were always going to have the same 4 champions at the beginning: Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. The marketing of Cody Rhodes, since he was never going to win that belt, it was a gimmick to keep him away from it. It wasn't because he had how are you a main eventer? Why are you carrying yourself this way? Why are the fans reacting to you? And you're never going after the title outside of the first pay-per-view after TV. That was so they had explained it or in Cody's mind, that's how he felt that they explained it that way. I don't think it wasn't that he legitimately couldn't be the champion and it was his idea out of the kind of his heart that he would do that. No, that was his gimmick. So the double-edged sword of that was, not only can he not be the champion, which I didn't care about because he wasn't going to be the champion for shoot anyway. It was, you can't help anybody. You can't work with the people.
He didn't want to.
You can't wrestle the champion. You can't even lose to them. That's what this was.
Right.
This was politicking.
Right. He fucked himself. He outsmarted himself. So then he ends up becoming the TNT champion 3 times over and everything. And then at each run is worse than the last one. And then people are turning on him because he doesn't want to turn heel when he should have been healed by that point in time. Because he had he burnt through so much stuff as a babyface. And so he took his act at WWE where people hadn't seen what he was already doing. And also he's not doing flat out Harley Race and Larry Zbyszko.
They never let Brandy Rose appear on screen with him at all, James, except when she was sitting in the crowd holding the child. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
one of the most unlikable people in pro wrestling history. Not by me, just how she's received.
Okay, I'm glad you elaborate on that part. So yeah, man, it's just he screwed himself up. He played all the wrong tricks to try to get where he wanted to be, and it didn't work for him. And then Big CM came, and he saw the writing on the table. Was like, hey, bro, Like, the master of ceremonies of this show, like, that's going to be CM Punk now. I need to find a way to get out of here. And then he left and went to WWE, and they desperately needed a top baby face, and he gave them everything you could have asked for, and they still fucked him over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say any better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's it's a lot, man. Dwayne Johnson is in a position of power. Amazing.
Yeah. Brewhaven saying Roman is a top babyface. Yeah, he's a top babyface, top heel. Like, the thing is, like, here's the story, right? People were asking, like, well, who's going to be the person that's going to defeat Roman and all this stuff? And I've said this, for over a year now. It's not about who defeats Roman. It's Roman's going to turn babyface before this title run is over with, and then he'll just get the freshen this thing up on the back end. Like, if he loses the belt, it'll probably be to one of his relatives, and he'll win it back after they turn on him down the road and get it back, and then he'll have his ace run as a babyface. Yeah.
Let's go into some questions.
Okay.
Because we came up here. Zekamaki says, can Stardom become the number one promotion in Japan with Okada leaving?
No.
Sexism.
The gap is too it's too outside. It's like asking AEW to overtake WWE. It's just
too much.
They don't even have TV. They don't have live TV in that way. They're not on TVSI, right? Or NTV or whatever New Japan's on right now. They don't have live TV. They're on some select stations running their recap show, the weekly half-hour recap show.
And I'll say this: if Okada leaving is a tipping point for you with New Japan, like, Stardom's under threat of retirements, exoduses at like all times.
At any point.
Like this, at any point. This can be a different promotion inside of 18 months at a given time.
Right. Like, Rich, like, what's today? The 23rd. Yeah. So today is like is Stardom's 13th anniversary, which means Mayu's 13th anniversary. How much longer do you think she's going to do this?
Maybe I don't know. She seems like a sicko. So, like,
that's true. If she were there, I've been wary that she may retire for about 3 years at this point. Same for Tam. That doesn't include Shuri or Julia or Kamatani go to America or something like that. Like, that's always at play, so it can happen anytime. Obviously the money's really good, but it just happens in Joshi like that.
Black Saber Jr., what's going on? He said, hope everyone's doing well. Hope y'all enjoying the nice weather down there. Must be nice. Anywho, hold on, sir. It was 14 degrees this week in Atlanta. So say that for James.
Yeah, right now, let me look at the weather. Right now, it is...
I was miserable. God damn it.
Right now, keep in mind, it is 10:42 at night. Here, it is 6 degrees.
Ain't that bad.
That's great. Forget it ain't bad. That's great.
Yeah. He says, do you believe Micah will still be the red belt champion by the time Stardom's USA show happens in April?
I'm going to say yes, because the big show, the All-Star Grand Queendom, is later in the month. So I'm going to say yeah.
I'm with James. Second one, which good hand mid-carder has a better chance of winning singles gold in their respective companies? Trent or Hazuki?
Hazuki. Wait. What do you mean by singles gold? Do you mean like any singles gold?
Yeah.
Hazuki. Because one, she's been a high-speed champion before. You can easily put her in a main event, semi-main event situation with a title for defense, all that kind of stuff. Like, the thing is, the answer really for both of them is neither. It's a tie, but at least we will see. But at least we will see Hazuki get title shots and singles title shots throughout the year. We'll see her get one or two.
I think Trent's just, even though they have 3 mid-card belts,
yeah,
it's just not. It's not for him. you know.
And I love watching Trent. I love what he does as a like him and Kazarian when they were, when Kazarian still around. It's like that role is very underappreciated for that. Like, you want quality match with people that like people respect and know you can beat or whatever else, and have losing percentage versus names, whatever else, but you buy them in matches. Like, that is an important role on a roster. Like, that is important for roster positioning to have those kind of people. So yeah, it sucks but I really like Trent a lot. I really do. And like, I honestly, like, I wish they would make like a Trent Orange Cassidy tag team or whatever else, and let them get singles gold or whatever else. It doesn't seem like it's ever gonna happen for best friends of Chucky and Trent. I know, Tunnel Talk ain't going to hear that shit. I know that. I'm sorry. Trent ain't, unless it's trios titles, it's never happened for Trent. I'm sorry for I almost called him Kingston. My God, for the Kentucky Gentleman, never happened.
So kind of a weird question here. He said, if Ospreay's the number one wrestler in the world, who's the fourth best?
The fourth? Okay, Omega, Okada. You would throw Shingo or Danielson?
Danielson or Shingo?
Or do you want? Or you tell me who do you think you're for?
Man, I would say Ospreay, Kenny, Danielson. That fourth one is kind of a lot. Hangman, Walter. I'll go Walter. How about that?
Okay, so for me, I'd go Ospreay, Okada, Omega, and those are the top three, and then the fourth one's either Danielson or Shingo for me.
Yeah. King Dom Homie says, where does Ben...
Hold on. We don't watch All Japan. Sorry, Kento Miyahara fans. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I know. Sorry. I don't watch him. I've only seen him wrestle like twice. Sorry.
Look, and I love Katsuhiko Nakajima the times I've seen him, but I haven't watched enough of him. Dom Homie 101 says, where does Ben Simmons rank in all-time finessers? And is he in the running for this year's Keiji Muto Finesser of the Year award? So
I don't think we ever voted anyone that wasn't in the realm of pro wrestling, so I don't think that'll be it.
Shit, that would be funny.
But it's funny, like, I didn't even think about Ben Simmons until, like, in relation to this, but, like, yesterday I sent you a message that was like, they talk about Hoodie Mello, Untucked Kyrie, and I was like, what about new team James Harden? And it made me think, like, forget that. What about, like, off-season workout Ben Simmons?
Oh my God. Cell phone recording Ben Simmons.
Found footage Ben Simmons.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Yes. Out here embarrassing Sir Sam, embarrassing Joe Saba. No national pride for that guy. Australia's biggest disappointment. Yes. He's an all-timer. I think he's only played like 4 games this year, if I'm not mistaken. This guy he's a man-made, self-made tragedy.
Yep.
This is his fault.
It's all in his head. So, we were talking about this with what made us bring up the Russ Walker thing the other day?
Seth Rollins coming out to
there it is. Yeah. So okay, so it does relate to wrestling, right? So on Twitter, when they showed that Seth was going to address his health or whatever else in the title picture and everything, they showed a picture of Seth and they showed one of his face. They showed one of his pictures when he holds the belt and he's making a wacky face. I was like, bro, why would the PR or whoever's running the Twitter machine or X machine for WWE, why would they run with this picture? Like, he's a champion, he has to address his future, he's making a hoo ha 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 face. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Come on. So I just said that just like, as far as the picture, like, bro, it's kind of a somewhat serious thing. I know it's a fake wrestling show, but still, like, someone's injured, the belt's in limbo, people care about the belt, blah, blah, blah. So not only did they go further, Seth doubles down. He comes out there in a lime green suit looking like a backup dancer in the Chris Brown Yeah x3 video. YouTube it. There's a motherfucker in there with that same fucking suit, except it's shorts instead of the long pants. I swear to you. So, and he's white. Yes, and he's white. Anyway, so then he comes out in the ring, and it makes it better. Like, he has the knee brace outside of the suit, and I was like, man. See, so then he goes, and I'm like, Rich,
we can't take nothing serious these days.
Rich was like, this is an unserious person. This is an unserious individual. And I was like, Rich, it ain't even about him being unserious. Like, when you come out here and you are dressed like this to give answers on your health, even in kayfabe or whatever else, you know, like, we can't take, even if you want to be serious, we can't take you serious because of how loud that goddamn suit is. You look like a goddamn clown. And I didn't see when he first got there, I only saw pictures of it. And then I saw him come to the ring and he had those glasses on. I was like, oh, he was even bigger. He was even more off the walls with it. So
I believe Meek Mill once said, I think it was Meek Mill, use a clown ass nigga, put a wig on.
Yes. So it made me bring up the old Wes Welker story. So the second Giants Patriots Super Bowl where the Mario Manningham catch happened, Patriots going down the field to try to keep hope alive, to try to win the Super Bowl, their last chance. Brady hits Wes Welker down the field, and Wes Welker just drops it, right? Welker at the time had this big fucking mustache on his face, and he's normally was always fresh faced. So after he drops it, Wes Welker, an adult, realizes one of the most crucial moments of the game was my gaffe, my mistake, my error. So I'm going to have to answer this in the locker room or at the podium or whatever. And people are going to remember this all the time and see this. And it's going to be recorded in history because it's the biggest event of the year in sports in America. Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to have to do before next time someone sees me after I walk up this fucking field is shave this stupid ass mustache. I don't want to be up here answering serious questions like a goddamn clown. Because even the motherfucker that made them foot jokes about Rex Ryan realizes he has to be serious at some point. Not Seth Rollins. He goes out there dressed like a clown. So I brought all this up to say, Ben Simmons last year in the playoff games, or 2 years ago in the playoff games, when he's sitting at the side, no, it was 2 years ago because it was when Durant was still there. When he's sitting at the sidelines, when Durant and Curry are out there trying to carry this team, and he's out there with them loud ass suits on, not playing. When everyone thinks he's gonna play and he doesn't play, this is shit we talking about. You are a clown trying to get attention when it's time to be serious.
Man.
So yeah, there you go.
But yeah, Ben Simmons, as far as all-time finessers, he's way up there. And he's an embarrassment. Flat out.
He was an all-star just 3 years ago. He was absolutely an all-star. He's not, was he? Is he even 28 yet?
No. Yeah, I think he's like 26.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like,
maybe 27.
Regardless of the legitimacy of his back injury, no one believes his back injury. He has no credibility. Am I right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. People think he doesn't want to play. And, that also is like the reason why the 6-4 they traded him when he was, showing up to the that practice or that off-season camp or preseason camp, and then he, checked in and then said, "Oh, my back hurt." And they were like, "All right, we'll find you every fucking game or every single day." They think he's full of shit. And it transfers now to another team, and I'm sure his teammates don't believe him either.
King Dom also he has blessed us with several questions. Best and worst case for this year's All-In main event. I'll say this: the worst case is a fucking rematch of Adam Cole versus MJF. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario is pretty much a combo of any of the other big matches that are floating around: Omega Danielson, Omega Okada, Swerve Hangman, Swerve Ospreay, whoever. Like all those work for me.
I'm going to say anything that involves MJF.
Yeah.
Honestly, you'd be like, what's the worst thing they could do? It'd be like, the worst benefit they could do is be like, Sky Blue versus Julia Hart or some shit like that, right? Like the long form story of
powers explode.
Yeah, like the golf powers explode or some shit like that, right? So it's like, yeah, like as far as one that's a realistic one, like I think anything that has MJF after what happened after All In for a lot of fans, I think that'd be like the least desirable thing is for him to be back in the main event there.
Yeah, man. Said early All In card predictions. I honestly, it's kind of far away.
Oh, sorry. Best case scenario for me for the main event of All In. I don't know, like some like
Osprey Omega 3,
Osprey Danielson, something like that. Hangman Osprey, some shit like that.
Early All In card predictions. Like I said, it is very early. I'm not too sure on that one.
I mean, how many pay-per-views do we have before then?
At least like 3.
Like, okay, so just to make sure. They're not. At least to our knowledge, they haven't added any AEW hasn't added any pay-per-views in the front half of the year. It's only the back half, right?
So far, no.
It's only All in the World's End, right?
Yeah. So we got Revolution, Double or Nothing,
right?
Forbidden Door,
and All In, All Out.
Else. Yep.
Full Gear,
Wrestle Dream.
Oh, I forgot Wrestle Dream. Yeah. So it's like. Maybe they're adding more and we're unaware of them, but like the part where like all of the pay-per-views that they added were in the back half of the year, it's kind of strange. Not strange, but it's just like it doesn't help the year-long flow of the year where like it feels like the traditional first half of AEW year, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like some slapdash shit in the second half, or it's going to be, more things stretched out. Cause like that, All In, All Out, 2 pay-per-views in 8 days thing is like, I know it works.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it again too. Yeah.
Are they going to still keep doing it until it doesn't work anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And then they'll be holding off to shit like Takesha and Omega off of Wembley, so they can put those 2 in a 6-man. Like it's road to All Out. We're gonna go
terrorism.
To the big building and do a road to the small bits.
Terrorism. Early Forbidden Door 3 card predictions.
Is there gonna be a Forbidden Door 3?
Yeah, there's gonna be a Forbidden Door 3.
Why? Is this gonna be like the? Hold on, Rich. Are they gonna do it like? In New Japan Pro Wrestling is like the alliance, where it's like we got signed wrestlers from AEW that
they're gonna turn their back
time in New Japan, so they'll just go back like a carousel because they've been double agents the whole time. Like they're gonna NWO up the freaking New Japan so they can make these cards make sense. Because like, bro, what's the fourth singles match you want on Forbidden Door between New Japan and AEW? The fourth one. What? Because like,
look, I feel like there's going to be.
I got a match for Saber. I got a match for Shingo. I got a match for Naito. Like if they don't seem to want
Hiromu to give and Darby.
Hiromu and Darby. That's the junior match I want the most out of this Forbidden Door thing. We ain't got it yet. So it's like, all right, what do you? Unless you gonna put Hiromu in a singles match, what you got? You gonna bring out Tai Chi?
No, Jack Perry.
Sonata, Evil.
Whose side is Jack Perry on? Sonata.
Yeah, man.
Jesus. But I don't know. I think there's going to be some multi-man match on there, like some, like a 4-way or something like that. I think Tsuji's going to get the nod to be in some type of big thing. So
somebody's going to get something that like a year ago you've been like, huh? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and there's nothing wrong with that because these guys are clearly talented enough to hold that spot. It's just the idea of the G1 Supercard, the idea of Forbidden Door was like these are separate things, and like at this point, there's been a plundering. There's been a plundering. So it ain't so much, these dream matches, like, bitch, all the dream matches are in AEW at this point. I want to see Okada versus Hangman. Well, that I'm sure that'll happen sometime in the next 18 months on AEW television.
AEW Dynamite, bitch. Have you thought about the C2 this year? Oh my God.
I mean, I thought about it when the idea of like, all right, well, Okada can do this tournament instead of like, having to wrestle 2 of those matches a week. He can recover and only have to wrestle 1 of those a week. That was one of my thoughts. I think I mentioned that on the emergency show we did about Okada. Was that Thursday?
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah.
So with Dwayne back in the field, will Cody finish his story in 2026? That one was rhetorical.
That's not what I'm forecasting. I'm forecasting tons of rain.
Thoughts on the Miami Heat retiring Udonis Haslam's number 40?
Am I going or are you going?
Look, man, I'll go.
All right.
I don't give a fuck about Udonis Haslam. Yo, this man was a player coach and all that. Basically. And that's nice. They want to immortalize him and all that shit. But we know the truth. They gave that man that back end many years job because he gave that money back so they could sign fucking LeBron, Wade, and Bosh.
Yep. And also there was also either at the same time or after that he took the pay cut. Because
this ain't aspirational.
There was a Nuggets deal on the table that was big money that he actually turned down at some point in his career.
Like, this ain't aspirational. Like,
all right. So I know it's funny because it's the latest one, but the way the NBA is different from the NFL, where like you have a ring of honor for your team, and you have put in like some of your all-decade players that you remember, right? Like if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, right? So a name will come to mind will be like Mike Allstott, right? Or if you're or if you're a Broncos fan, you'll think of someone like a DJ Williams, something like that, right? So. But they don't give numbers out and retire numbers that often in the NFL because like there's so many players that you end up having shitty numbers left. But with basketball, pretty much any number 1 through, or at this point 00 through 45 is a number that's okay looking. So or 35 honestly for basketball. So unless you're the Celtics where you've retired every single number of seasons.
Oh, yeah.
But outside of the Celtics, with their weird thing, like all these smaller places, they retire numbers for people that had these feel-good moments that were like, core members of championship runs or, dynasties, pseudo-dynasties, whatever else. So, like, for Miami, for them to have only retired, at this point, Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway, Jordan because of Riley's reference to Michael Jordan, Wade, Shaq, Chris Bosh, and it'll be LeBron eventually, and then
Alonzo Mourning. Did you mention him?
I thought I mentioned Alonzo first.
Okay,
but yeah. So like these are all people that like the franchise started in the 90s. You got Alonzo and you got Tim Hardaway to represent that 90s 2000s era. You got the Heatles. LeBron eventually get there. You got Shaq for the one run, and you got Jordan. That's kind of it. So if you want to add in, like, for example, like the Spurs, they retired the number 12 for Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen was the worst basketball player in Udonis Haslam. Right? Like, it's absurd that Bruce Bowen...
You sure about that? Because he was an all-league defender, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure on that.
Udonis Haslam was not. He was not a rebounder. He was not a. He was a glue guy.
Yeah, but here's what it comes down to: would Bruce Bowen ever got more than a mid-level exception?
No. I don't know. Just based on how the league, like back then, how they were paying people, I don't think if it was today, he would have got paid nowadays.
Rich. We don't have to pretend like they're in different eras. They played together in the same league.
Nah. No, like the salary structure that Bruce Bowen was playing under after Bruce Bowen was not playing after 2016 when all this TV money flowed to make these contracts ridiculous.
Right. But Dwayne Wade, but he won a title in the 06 Heat. Like, what I'm saying is this, Rich. Like, I'm not accounting for what the number looks like. I'm talking about like the percentage of the cap. That's I'm not talking about what the number is. Obviously, numbers will look out of whack. But I'm saying like,
I was saying somebody would have paid like the equivalent of Bruce Bowen nowadays would have gotten paid like relative to what or more than like what Bruce Bowen of his time got just because of specialists and 3-pointers and the value on that. Like we see Duncan Robinson get paid like $90 million or something like that. Like Bruce Bowen could make threes and he was a, all league defender.
I'm going to say maybe because you're forgetting the part where like in this day's era, he got suspended a lot more. For doing for all the shit he doing, putting his foot under people's ankles, Vince Carter, T-Mac, Ray Allen, and doing all that dirty shit or whatever else. He'd been throwing like so many games doing that stupid shit that he got away with back then because we let people like be goons on that kind of shit now. So yeah, like it's a trade-off. So like in theory, but if you're talking about the thing of like what his game is, like well his game is he's a dirty player to injure people. That shit's not looked upon in the league. Like shout out to Draymond, right? Just came off suspension. But yeah, like it's you gotta throw that into the equation where we're like, oh well, this thing's gonna get suspended all the goddamn time. So yeah, like I mean either way, we're talking about two unremarkable NBA careers that happen to be champions. Right? And I don't get me wrong, like, I like Udonis and everything, even if you go to Florida. So like, yeah, it's just he's somebody that is not you think of a retirement NBA jersey or NBA jersey retirement. He does not. His career does not define someone that typically gets their jersey retired from any franchise. No, that is happening out of kindness of the organization's heart in the community.
Charity.
Yeah.
Question from Bruce: what is one thing Rich and James will never see eye to eye on wrestling related?
Maybe technical wrestling, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking Tim Thatcher. Like, I'm like, yo, I'm never trying to watch no Tim Thatcher. Ever.
Like, how do I say this? You don't actually dislike mat wrestling. That's a gimmick that you have going on. Like, the RPW thing is a gimmick. Like, you watch the Zack Sabre Jr. Danielson match same way that we did, and we're like, yeah, that's a great fucking match, right? Like, the thing is, like, for me, a lot of my favorite wrestlers, like, in some of my favorite matches they do, like, have some of that in it. And, like, I grew up watching, like, the cruiserweights, and, like, they start out, like, with that, and then they expand into the craziness, as opposed to, like, oh, 2 minutes in, let's do a tope con Hero. Like, so, like, for me, like, for me, it's like, I'm give or take with all that kind of stuff, and I kind of like the idea of, like, we start with the idea that this actually is, like, something involving technical skill, and then like the fireworks, the laser light show goes off. You were just like, hey man, straight off the rip, like you want Kushida versus Hiromu. That's
what we waiting for, you know?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of what me. And it's like technical wrestling is not like people overstate technical wrestling is like to mean like, oh, we're just chain and mat wrestling. Like technical wrestling is like showing you're proficient in movement, in coordination, in skill and tactic. Like that's the reason why like the Danielson shit works so much better than like a lot of other people that are like do the whole porn, because it's like you're not actually like trying to get the emotion of the swings and ebbs and flows of like
don't nobody lose to none of that shit, or like it don't even look like it like devastates people. It's just motherfuckers be rolling around. Like it for me it's similar to like when niggas be when watching UFC and it's like get up off the mat, fight. Like that's like where y'all rolling around, y'all hugging on the mat. That's what I like look at that as.
I mean, some of that stuff, because obviously like a lot of stuff looks like the general wrestle stuff. I get what you're saying, but like for me, when I like good technical wrestling, I like is like people are tactically trying to get an advantage over somebody, and then all of a sudden someone gets caught in some shit. Like, but stuff Danielson does is like a lot of stuff early Sabre I did not enjoy because it felt just like here's a hole, here's another hole, here's another, like it's like an exhibition of showing you all the things I can do that's not actually going to beat anybody, which is like what your point is. Like, that's the reason why I didn't like Sabre at first. And then like, he's modified and gotten better at this kind of stuff as far as showing, like, getting it fit into style and pacing, as opposed to, like, playing defense against the actual dynamic stuff that's happening in the match.
King Dom, he says, will we see another wrestling show take Raw's place on television? I don't think so. I don't think WWE is going to create another show. If they're not on Monday nights, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, like the Netflix assigns them a different day, and that hole is just there. Could TNA be like, yo, we're going to, like, play on that tradition and be like, yeah, we're going to do that? They could. I could see them doing that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
But I don't think Tony Khan's going to do that because obviously Monday Night Football, and they're not going to do that. I saw a lot of people suggesting to move Collision to Mondays, and I was like, the only reason you're suggesting this is because you like that Collision already reminded you of Monday nights anyway. In the first,
CM Punk isn't around anymore, so that's not even a thing anymore. No,
that's the only thing. Yeah. King Dom, does anybody believe the so-called reports of Okada to NXT? I'm glad you brought this up. Monthly Puroresu is not a news source. This is like a fan blog, and like I saw people just picking this up, celebrating. Motherfuckers that like should know better. I'm like, all right, man, y'all gotta like do better, man. Like, just wait. That's all we gotta do. All we gotta do is wait. Like, SRS will have this shit, Dave will have this shit, or the company will announce this shit.
Yep.
Or fucking Zarian will give it to us somehow.
Yep.
That,
you're right.
If it's not them, or Super J-Cast, or like me at times, if it's not those people, just wait. King Dom said, what is the lasting legacy of Okada in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Favorite matches, moments, and rivalries? We kind of did that on that 45-minute show. But for me, he's the greatest champion. Like that reign is like comparable with the Kenta Kobashi title reign. And he, you know, it was like there was Hiroshi Tanahashi, then there was Kazuchika Okada, who revived New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's what it is.
Yeah. For me, he's the greatest pro wrestling champion I've ever seen. The 2016 to 17 or 2016 through 18 run was just unbelievable. So, favorite matches and stuff, like, you know, the Okada Omega 1 and 4 are the two best pro wrestling matches I've ever seen. And that's the same reign. The Shibata match is also like in the same reign. That's an all-time match for me too. Also, it is also like for a lot of people, they have it even higher because of like the tragic nature of like what happened to Shibata in the match in his career. But yeah, like I just think best champion I've ever seen, and like he's my favorite New Japan wrestler ever. So yeah.
How long until Netflix looks to get out the WWE deal? I think they're going to opt out after the 5th year because
it's too
long. Like Netflix is stable, but like there's a lot of there is a lot of trouble around like them having to raise their prices. A lot of like there's instability there. Actually, you know, they're always raising prices. They're canceling shows constantly. Streaming is completely a black hole of unknown of how that shit's gonna go.
Yep.
So like, I cannot see them making it to that 10-year contract, or even like they also have the option after 5 years to extend for 10 more years to where it could be up to like 2045 or some shit. But I don't think it's gonna get that far.
Yeah, I think they opt out. Not even to say that like WWE is going to underperform, but like they might opt out just to get out of not having to pay another fight. Because as you mentioned, like the uncertainty of what a half decade from now is going to look like as far as TV and streaming and Netflix and, you know, them always wanting to cut costs and cut shows, good shows, shows that people watch.
And you can play like recent history, like of the masters of WWE. Like they have, you know, whatever the reason is, they have jumped out of these deals early. So like whether it's the underperformance on Fox, but this one, I think, as you mentioned, it wouldn't necessarily have to do with WWE, but I don't see how WWE, like, because there's like a whole thing with the ad version and all that. Like they have to drive them to us. Like, how does WWE be like, all right, we were responsible for this? Maybe we'll get the answers on that. Maybe we won't, but I don't know. Rambones, what's up, Rambones? He says, what do you think is a realistic ceiling on Okada in a televised American promotion? Is he a top guy based on his work rate, look, and physical charisma, or will the lack of fluent English keep him as an upper mid card attraction? And where do you think Okada lands?
Well, I think this answer depends on where he ends up. Because if he's in AEW, he will be an AEW World Champion, unquestionably. It'll happen. Within 18 months. Now, if he goes to WWE, I think the ceiling is still there for him to be, he
can win the fake belt.
That's what I'm saying. Like worst case scenario, I think the floor is he ends up with that belt that Seth has. That's the floor. So like, these are not bad options he's choosing from, like where it's like some doom and gloom situation. Like outside of the idea of like Okada is no longer like one of the 10 best wrestlers as far as in-ring performance year in, year out, like clockwork that we've seen, this almost decade at this point. Like outside of that, as far as presentation and kayfabe and where he'll be presented and how he'll be looked at and how fans see him in either promotion, he will be a main eventer anywhere he goes. But the idea that like, will he be the final boss of the wrestling universe in WWE? I have my doubts on that one.
He's not the top guy in either promotion. Like it's just not gonna go that way.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm pretty sure he goes in there knowing like, I'm not gonna be a bigger star than Jon Moxley or Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega. Maybe Dan should be champion. That'll definitely happen.
Keem, tough question from Keem. Name the 12 you want this year for this year's C2. Ooh. Man.
Okay, so the dream scenario or the realistic scenario where they're going to put in like mid-carders that have good matches?
It. Let's do the dream scenario. Why not?
All right. Okada, Omega, we get Danielson to not retire.
That's 3.
All right, Page, Moxley.
Yep, that's 5.
Okay. Takeshita.
6.
Phoenix.
7.
Where do we go from here?
Swerve.
Yep, Swerve.
Did you say Osprey already?
No, I did not say Osprey.
That's 9.
That's 9, so 3 more?
Yep.
How do you feel about Orange Cassidy?
Sure.
Okay. Is Eddie Kingston...
Kyle O'Reilly.
I mean, if he's going to be healthy, sure.
Darby Allin.
That would be fun.
And Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston and the Defendant. Yeah, that's 12.
I think that's 12.
That's 12. That's not necessarily. I don't know if that's necessarily, in my opinion, like the 12 best wrestlers in AEW, but like that's good. That's damn close enough.
Yeah, man. Woo!
I gotta say that'd be funny because like if that lineup happens, like Eddie Kingston's gonna be out there going from winning the damn thing to going out there with what 6 points and out the tournament.
It's gonna be a different year.
It's a whole different year. Like this man aged like a dog.
We didn't even mention like Bandito,
right.
People like that. Like
Roosh, that's another good one. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, man. Penta didn't even get discussed. We mentioned his brother. Penta didn't even get discussed.
Paula. He also says, do you think it's time for Starlight Kid to ascend to the next level already for one of the top belts and not just as a one-off like her match with Sayori, but as a consistent mainstay in the top scene? Yes.
Yeah, we've been saying
absolutely.
This,
what are we waiting for?
Yeah, we've been saying this like 2021, 2022. Like after Azumi and Starlight Kid have that first high-speed match that went the fuck off, and it was one of the best matches of the year in 2022, and then they did it again last year, and then you see the matches that Starlight Kid has with Julia. Like and you see the amount of merch she sells, even while being in the heel faction, it's like, all right, what else does she need to prove? Like, we know she can wrestle a main event style. We know she can wrestle a heated rivalry type of thing. We know she has this huge storyline with Mayu. We know she knows she has these ties with Tam Nakano and Julia because of the groundwork has been laid over the years. There's like the idea that like that Ano can come in and and Mirai can come in and be the white belt champions, but not Kid is like, the only explanation is there's something planned and guaranteed for her down the line, or like it's flat out like you signed with us or you came into the company in 2015 and we're never pushing you because you're old. But if you came in, you're as yourself today, you'd be the top star in the company. Like that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's one of those where it's like, all right, so just like Hazuki, Kid, Azumi, like it's never happening. Momo is never happening for you. Even though if like you were on the outside and you were the same person with the same set of skills, we will push you to the moon because like, if you tell me for a Joshi promotion, like who we rather push, Suzuki or Starlight Kid, I'm taking Starlight Kid. I think Suzu's a better worker than Kid, but Starlight Kid is better at aside from the ass kicking part. So it's one of those. Like she'll be the champion eventually, or we'll have to look back and be like, what the fuck was Rossi doing over these past 5 years?
Yeah, I would be shocked if she didn't get some type of elevation to come soon because it's like, it's time, man. Like they went through the teenage years. She turns 23 this year. Yeah, like she's like, it's been fucking time. This is like asking if Sasha Banks should be getting pushed in like 2015. It's like, yes, motherfucker. Like what are we waiting for? Who's in her way? Like,
yeah. Like, right. I've been racking my brain on like what some of the explanations for like why this is. Like, is this a size thing where it's like Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Natsupoi, like especially Natsupoi.
Hey, the junior heavyweights.
Yeah, are they treated as juniors? Like they're too small. Like if you're 5 foot flat or you're 4'11", you are therefore deemed too small to be, the champion. Like, and the cutoff line is basically like Io and Tam and Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be something to that because, like, I don't, they small. I mean, no disrespect. Like they fight like they scrap like dogs, especially Poi. But like maybe there's something
got to get on the gas.
Get on the gas. Get on the gas. It's not a gas. Because look, also Starlight Kid. Also, when it comes to it, like she has filled out an upper body. Like you got big arms, all that kind of shit now. Like. It's just a height thing. I think a part of it. I think it's a part of the height thing. I think it's a lot of it is we've had this toy in the shelf, or we've had this toy like in the treasure chest for forever. I've lost some of the initial like infatuation with it. And like I think it's a bunch of different factors, but it's like it is what it is as far as her star power and the level that she delivers when she's asked to deliver at when the bell rings at semi-main event or main event level. Like it proves in the pudding. She should have already been at this level, right? So that's what it is for me. Is like her, Poi, Azumi, they all should have been in Hazuki. They all should have been in this mix at some point, and they fell out of favor for whatever reason. And obviously it'll be different combination why it hasn't worked for them at some point. But like at a certain point, like Starlight Kid has to break through. Otherwise, what are we even doing?
Right. MJF returned to take on this is from Rot. He says, if MJF returned to take on Undisputed Kingdom and Blood and Guts 6 months from now, who would you make his teammates?
MJF?
Yeah, that's tough because MJF has no friends.
Right.
Maybe he can ask the rest of the pillars for help.
That's gonna happen. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Fuck. I don't want to. God, I hate that. That's what's gonna happen. I don't want Darby helping that man ever. Like, if they be like, yeah, I'll help you. Like, I want all to be like, yeah, we'll help you. We'll be in there. And then they all get in that cage.
They all whoop his back ass.
They let MJF goes in first. And all of a sudden, Sammy gets in and put the stomps to his ass. Then then Jungle Boy gets in and he proceeds to put the stomps to MJF ass. Then Darby gets in and he beats that man ass with that skateboard. Yes, I know. Within
an inch of his life.
Yes. Surrender.
Love it.
And man, I getting his ass. Whooped 7-on-1. Getting like Hulk Hogan in the Black History Royal Rumble meme that always goes around.
God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just getting destroyed.
Warlord just powerbombing him over and over and over from ring to ring.
I forgot about that part. Yes.
Brandon Vincandia, if Seth Rollins went to AEW, where would he rank on the upper mid card to main event depth chart?
As far as being presented as a upper mid card.
There are so many people I would push in front of Seth Rollins.
I'm not getting to that with you, Rich. I agree. Yeah. I agree. However, he's with the other company. You see what they're doing with Edge. Like he would get a shot. They would carve out time for him and try to treat him as someone special, at least in the first 3 to 6 months. Obviously, so like they would push him as a main eventer. I just think that like over time, like after 18 months. He'd be like the tippy top, either the bottom of the main event pile or the top of the mid card pile. He'd be on every pay-per-view, but like he'd be like the TNT champion. I don't think he'd ever be the AEW World Champion. No.
I think I would call for the company to close if they did that. T. Jones says under.
Call for the champion if he was TNT champion?
Oh no! If he's a world champion.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not calling for the look. He do better than MJF did.
I don't know.
Oh bullshit!
I don't know because look, that man's had that belt, bro. Do we remember a match that he's had with this shit yet? Like, does he have like a signature match with this belt?
Rich, we can't do that with him because we don't watch. That's not fair.
I'm saying Gunther got him. Look, and they don't even let Gunther on pay-per-view.
All right,
they don't let him on They don't let him on pay-per-view because they're afraid of him outshining Seth Rollins.
Rich, we're in a situation where I just went on a rant about Seth Rollins, like a half hour ago, because that man got injured in a match with Jinder Mahal. We are not doing these things in like a normal competently ran program or professional wrestling company. So, like, I get what you're saying, but it's like I don't think that he would be out here spinning defenses against Jinder Mahal of AEW. I just don't think that would happen.
I forgot about that. Triple H, you should be bringing your ass out here to get lit on fire. For coming out here and setting up this Seth Rollins and Jinder Mahal match and having that shit be anything more than a squash just because of the shit that was created on Twitter. Led to this man getting hurt and possibly fucking up a fake main event for WrestleMania and giving a guy a fucking torn meniscus. This is AEW. People want Tony Khan thrown in a pool of fire if this happened.
It's also like interesting to think about it. Like the last time Seth was put into a mini feud with somebody before he goes to his actual match, like that I can recall, that was already set up for WrestleMania, was like when Joe fucked up his knee going to WrestleMania 33. Like he just has bad looks of like wrestling these guys that like aren't really wrestling, so he can't wrestle them, so he has to wrestle someone else. Seth's gotten some bad luck, man. Obviously, we know.
Look, that man's about to risk the rest of his knee for that fake WrestleMania main event. God bless him.
Hey, he like it over there. That's on him. Has he resigned yet? Have you heard if he resigned yet?
He has not, and I need that to hurry up and get done.
As I said at the time when it came out that he was approaching free agency potentially, is like I don't want to see him anywhere else but WWE, brother.
Or take it to TNA. I don't, go fight Nick Nemeth.
Why we giving TNA and Nemeth so much shit? We never talk about them until just this particular week. We just throwing these jabs at them. Take it over there. Good Lord.
Will Ospreay and Josh Alexander 2 was fucking phenomenal. It was like they tried to do like up for free. It's like they tried to do Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles tribute match damn near. It ruled.
Okay. Did you rate it?
I would say it's 4.5 easy.
Okay. I mean, that's an aspect out of those two. Yeah.
T. Jones says over and under on Sheamus or Nuge or Noah. So I don't know what this question exactly means. I would like to see him in either one.
Look.
And I think he would be fire in either one. And I might lean towards Noah, actually.
Look, I would like to see him in there versus like Go or Kano. I really would.
Masa
especially if Nakajima was still around. Good lord.
Look, Masa Kitamiya and Sheamus would beat the fucking hell out of each other.
I didn't watch the Ishii match. How was it?
It was great.
Okay.
Look, hold on. Where's the notebook? It's in this motherfucker right here. It lives for the rest of eternity right here.
It lives for eternity in my journal.
Yes. But yeah.
Why am I not thinking of Alicia Keys? I'll keep your secrets in the pages of my diary.
God.
Now all of a sudden. Rich, I heard writing them secret notes in his book.
Yep. Writing it in the book.
Shout out to him. Shout out to you, Rich.
Yeah, so we had Dynamite this week, and brother, feeling restored. I think I'm ready to like go on record now and say with the return of the AEW rankings, and that was a pleasant announcement. And man, I've been hurting people on Twitter the past couple. I've been having some fun with them. Just like,
yes, I see you flew. Now I've gone with my working theory that I propagated about CM Punk came back because he was broke. And the reason why I believe he's broke because John Moxley told me he was broke. and then you look at how he's and then you look how he's behaved ever since John Moxley said that. It's like, this is broke behavior.
These are the actions of a brokey.
I mean, look, CM Punk, while being broke, got more money than me. But nonetheless, based off of his lifestyle, he's broke, or he has been broke. And
look, and I understand. Look, them bills still coming in. Them shit ain't going nowhere. They got to get paid.
Rich people got mortgages like everyone else too.
But these are the actions of a man who have made a bad deal or two in his lifetime. So, the return of the rankings. First, let's start there. Love it. There's no dark in elevation now to do the stat padding, and I think I had a tweet go wrestling Twitter viral, I would say, that plainly said, "Niggas will do jobs."
It's great.
And I thought it was, I got so many responses to that with Miro's entrance theme, his Titantron, his picture. I saw full debates breaking out about it, like on the side that somehow I was still tagged in.
Did you actually respond to any of the stuff?
No.
Because I want to say a few weeks ago, like after the Danielson and Claudio match, I was like, it's amazing how like two people that are like in faction members can like wrestle a match and like not have to hem and haw emotionally every 5 minutes. And it was fucking awesome. I was like, this is a great new concept, or this is a great new development for professional wrestling. And that shit got like 600 likes. And like people were in there like arguing about different things. And I was like, I think I responded to one person. I was like, bro, this is a dig at the All In main event. That's it. And that's the only thing I said. Everybody else is out here typing in, well, I like this. I like it the other way. And then people were like, well, that way sucks, or that way's not as good as this way. And I was like, y'all got it. Yeah,
y'all gotta have it.
Yep.
But the rankings, I think the cool thing about the rankings coming back is when the hottest period of this company, the rankings were a factor. They were a great storytelling device. They were there to be argued about. James, can you name me a single poll that's ever come out in the history of polls in college basketball, football, boxing, UFC that had 100% approval across the board?
Not a one. And like that is a part of polls, as a part of lists. Like when Rolling Stone comes out there and gives you their, 500 greatest albums of all time or their 100 greatest like rap albums of all time list or whatever else. It is like for engagement. It is for clicks. Like they are trying. I believe in my heart, like these people are trying to tabulate and cut and put together the best list they possibly can, but they are aware that like this list are full of whatever the panel or committee is going to be full of biases or whatever else, and it's going to come into play in an outcome, and people are going to be pissed when they look at one thing being below the other. That's how that always works. So with the rankings, like for me in particular, as a Florida State football fan, the rankings kind of matter, don't they? So yeah, man, like I'm glad it's back. Now I don't want it to be like last time when it was like the top 5 also included like the TNT title. I think at this point it just be the AEW World title, and they can figure out whatever else with the other one if they want, or they want to bring it back to include TNT title, fine, whatever. But like the thing that I like is what you mentioned. There is no darks. There are no darks to stat pad anymore. Everything will be seen on television. And I'm also going to assume at some point they'll also include Ring of Honor in this, but for the most part, it's going to be people that you see pick up these wins and losses on Saturdays and Friday nights and Saturdays on Turner. So I'm for it, as opposed to how the fuck did this person get? I was saying at the time when they were doing the stat pads, like these are just basically like blowouts versus unranked teams. Mm-hmm. Like, show me your ranked wins.
These check games.
Yeah.
They need to drop like they need to just be like, they need to like bring another element to it. Like there needs to be like every week there needs to be a computer for this shit that automatically updates. There needs to be like its own kind of BCS system or some shit like that. Like and it doesn't, and it just needs to exist just as its own thing. Like it doesn't need to be strictly adhered to, like as far as like the one isn't wrestling the two. This is bullshit. It's like people just don't understand these things.
It's a fighting fed, and it's a fake fighting fed, but it's based off the realism of there are pound for pound, or sorry, there are division rankings for these these boxing belts or whatever else, and one don't always get the title shot. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. Most times it's someone in the top 3. But the idea of you do that or whatever else, and like you tell the story of like, all right, you rise up the rankings, you see people building momentum, like in a way that you already can tell, like a Swerve in a Hangman Page were like headed towards the title even without the rankings. Like you watch the show, and like the thing is to help inform you. It's a extra piece of storytelling to let you know like what's coming around in the corner in a month or so. So I enjoy it if you do it well. And for me,
people got to not be marks too, like to be like, you know, and that goes to the people backstage. To be like, oh, you know, my record says this, like, bro, it's gonna like curb a lot of the apprehension to doing jobs, like, because this thing doesn't work if you don't do jobs. Like the promotion doesn't work, so like it adds stakes for every match. Every match matters. There's not just like, oh, this is on the show, that's happening, whatever. Like it seems like, okay, somebody's trying to get in position somewhere, like,
right. And also like depending on if this is for just the AEW World title in the men's division, or if this is for, you know, the international title, the Triple Crown, whatever. Like if this is for multiple things, you can all set paths for multiple people, like in the run up to TV defenses and whatever else. Like there'll still be eliminator matches, of course. But like it just makes
Champions Choice.
People that love to talk about like, you know, the idea that one person that these people are fake, these are actors that are portraying fighters, and their job is that they are paid fighters. Like the idea that people say like, what are the stakes or whatever? Well, the stakes is like, if you win here, it adds towards this goal the goal that the man or the woman has towards getting to whatever belt they want or destination, whatever matching MacGuffin they want. So this adds to it. So people that talk about the stakes and things, and this is a random match, it's harder for you to say that today.
Right. So, and I think there's an opportunity to take what did work about the rankings, throw out what didn't, and like come back in a new way to like make it more fun, make it more as a real story line device, and also like have fun on it with social media on it. Like I saw they already started that. Like who's gonna be number one? Like people they're trying to like, and they had like a picture of like 4 guys on there. It was like Hangman, Swerve, and like 2 other people. I think maybe Moxley and Danielson, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's gonna be.
They were like, who's gonna be number one? And then it's like, all right, like that's
on the first
easy
one. It should be Swerve.
Conversation. It's easy conversation.
Yeah, and like once we get to October and during college football, like that Tuesday, either Tuesday or Wednesday, they have that hour long show where they announce the top 4 or the top 6 or whatever else and tell you who's in every week to week. Well, like I'm not saying necessarily you have to have the show, but I'm saying like the ranking thing is the intrigue of that grabs millions of people to watch that particular show. Like the ranking should be able to be an intrigue plot to make you to watch like this particular show. Is like, all right, this person number 4, they're facing, someone that's won, 4 times in a row or won every match in like the last 2 months, whatever else. Like whoever wins this could like jump to top 3 and get a title shot. Like this helps the storytelling if you're doing it well.
They can also do something like challenge for your number. Or somebody that's not ranked, like, hey, number 3, I challenge you for your number or whatever. And then, say he beats them, now you're number 3 or whatever. But then whoever's number 4 is like, hey, wait a minute, motherfucker, you didn't beat me. Like, and then it's like, those are easy things you can do, like number matches. Like,
and
these people will swap.
And this also helps like further when people get like upsets, right? So like when Garcia ends up beating Brody at the end of the Continental Classic, right? That was obviously a big thing because of the scoreboard, right? Well, if you have a 1 through 5 on your name, and someone shuts the door, and someone closes the door on you for your run towards the title for the next 2 months, that's storyline device right there. Like let's say a babyface beats a heel and upset, right? Heel can just come back the next week or after the match and lay a beat down on them viciously or whatever else. There's your program right there. Storytelling.
Yep. Like these are all like. This is a tree that branches can be sprouted from,
right?
And it's on them to like figure that out. So maybe I will make a few. I will attempt to contact a few people. Zekamaki says, Rich and James, can we finally get people to stop the cap on punts collisions like they were this generational period of TV?
I saw that tweet or whatever else.
Man,
like, okay, whatever.
The
shows were fine. The shows we have gotten post-punk are better. The end.
This is the same cap that had those same people upholding the CM Punk and Samoa Joe from Wembley Stadium as like one of the 5 best matches of the year and shit. Like this is you're not dealing with rational people. Like you're dealing with disciples, members of a cult, damn near. So
okay.
Yeah, like it was cool, but I'm sorry, I did not want to watch Brock Anderson for 12 minutes on those shows. I did not want to watch the endless 6-man tag main events that were like 30 minutes long that were slow. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do it. Did FTR do some cool stuff over the summer? Yes, they did.
They did.
Did Jay White
they absolutely carried CM Punk when he first came back.
Did Jay White basically get a place to do his thing? They did.
Yep.
However, it was just like this different kind of show that was slower paced, that was nothing like what put this company on the map. So like,
I mean, to be honest, Continental Classic in the way like the wrestlers wrestling the Continental Classic, that still be true. It's just they had better matches. And they had better matches. Like, if you have better matches and actually competitive matches, opposed to like,
squash 75% matches.
Squashes, and you have maybe 2 competitive matches for over 2 hours, like, they've just changed, they tweaked the format just a little bit. You still get your slow, hard-hitting wrestling on Saturdays. So, like, the style isn't the problem. It was the part where it's like, these are uncompetitive matches for the most part. And, like, why is...
the stars are not on the show.
Hold on. And why is the biggest star in the company wrestling Ricky Starks?
I'll let that sit there for a second. Dynamite last week. North Charleston, South Carolina.
Rich,
what a choice of building.
But before we got to it, Rich was going into this saying like, "Hey man, like we've had 1 or 2 shows in South Carolina and they both suck. This is Fed country. These crowds gonna suck. This is like going to Pittsburgh or Kansas City." And I was like, "Yeah, they did have a South Carolina show that I remember stinking, right?" And then apparently, like, North Charleston is different from Charleston. Go fucking figure. This was a great crowd.
Great crowd. All 2,600 of them rocking in there.
Should I go on my rant?
Sure.
So I typed in North Charleston when I was like, North Charleston, it's not just like a saying. That's actually its own municipality that's separate from Charleston. Okay. What's the population on this? And I was like, hold on. Let me look up like Florida towns or whatever else. The town that Rich had lived in for when he was in high school is just as big. And I was like, all right, well they need to come to the minor leagues Phillies affiliate that's here and rent out that baseball stadium and run Dynamite there. Because that's only 10 minutes from me. And if you want to go to fucking North Charleston, South Carolina, you can bring your ass to Clearwater, Florida, because like this county that I live in has 1 million people in it. What are we doing? So
I always thought about Bright House Field is like, yo, that would be cool if AEW went there. Like, I always thought about that, but
my point is, they went to this small. Like, what made them go to North Charleston? I have no idea. What I don't know what Mookie Ghana pulled up and the numbers say we go here as opposed to actual Charleston. I don't get it. I don't know what the rent difference was. I don't know. But I remember the South Carolina show they did, and Rich is absolutely right. Them crowds did stink, and this is totally different. Like, this felt like a Texas Dynamite.
Damn near. And they got a hell of a show.
Yes,
I feel safe declaring like, yo, all this shit that like we have railed against, and a lot of that shit is being fixed right now.
Yes.
It's like,
yes,
it feels fucking great. It's amazing. We threw MJF out the paint, and then this shit is like, this shit has regained form.
All right, so let's go through it.
Christian Cage, Dustin Rhodes, Masters Division, old man fight. Loved it.
Yeah,
Christian Cage got a win worth a damn. Dustin Rhodes is on. It seems like, he's getting used a lot lately. So is this like a, it makes me think, okay, maybe his contract's coming up. Who knows?
Oh,
whatever.
God.
I'm not privy to this information.
So
all I know is these two old motherfuckers went out there and was like, we gonna tear it down.
And they did. It is amazing the kind of match they can have when Dustin's out here just 3 weeks post getting his ankle broken by a cinder block. However,
fighting spirit.
We have now, Rich. I don't think we've talked about that on the show yet, but it's like Swerve at World's End on that. I believe that was December 30th or December 31st. December 30th. Did a swerve stomp off the apron to the floor that crushed through a cinder block that Dustin's foot was over the top of. And then he wrestled the next week. And then he wrestled here again. And then he's wrestled 3 times, right? This is third time wrestling since then.
Yeah.
Like,
Bills do.
They tell you, they tell you about telling stories and these kids and they just do shit or whatever else. And then you got one of the oldest motherfuckers on the roster. Motherfucker that was wrestling in the 80s, right? Him and Sting on them same pay-per-views, on the same Great American Bashes, right? And he's doing shit like this. I don't want to hear and can do Canadian Destroyers. I don't want to hear no more. Match was wrong.
He did one in this match. This thing ruled. Almost too much to recap, but loved it.
It's a great match.
Good win for Christian, and this whole thing was just like the Masters Division. I mean, we're getting Minoru Suzuki and Edge for the Masters Division this week.
I don't know I've never imagined what an Edge and Minoru Suzuki match would look like, but I don't think it'll be better than Dustin and Christian. I don't think so, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's I think it'll be fun
because I don't think an Edge is a sit in the paint and brawl type guy.
Yeah, maybe he'll surprise us.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the match, but it's like, when Edge, when Big Cope was out here talking about, I want to wrestle, the New Japan guys, I was like, bruh, I'm glad that you want to. I don't necessarily know if I want to see you wrestle New Japan guys. Right? So yeah, man, like, he mentioned the Okada thing. Look, did Big Cope have insider information? Did he know that the Rainmaker's on the way?
Who knows? Look, he don't even got to go to Japan to do it now.
Look, never mind. Go ahead.
Renee was backstage with Swerve. Said he'd be foolish to not be paying attention to the main event. Of course, the main event was Hook and Samoa Joe. He's focused on the world belt now that the C2 is over. He was the talk of the tournament. Renee then brought up Hangman, and then Swerve, like, he went from smiling to like not smiling no more, and that shit was funny.
I love it. That's real hate. Like, you ruined my mood by bringing this motherfucker's name up.
Yo, he said Paige, he beat Roger Strong, Claudio, JD Drake. And he said even if the heavens opened up and God himself came down, Hangman would have a chance, but he still lost to me. So
twice.
That was a hard line.
I fucking loved it. I was like, bro, this man is a great that Page guy. He's a great wrestler. I beat him twice. There is no discussion. There's no debate. I'm the number one contender, not him.
Yeah, whose house? Swerve's house. Then Renee was backstage with Jericho, asking where him and Sammy go from here after losing their belts. Jericho said they only lost because of Hobbs and Takeshita. He said his win over Takeshita a month ago in Japan doesn't mean as much as it used to, so now he's going to seek and destroy Takeshita's ass. Then all of a sudden, Matt Sydal walked in the screen, and he knows that he said, hey, this ain't the Chris Jericho that I know. He said, maybe you need to get in there with somebody that you beat in the past, like me. Jericho said we can run it on Rampage. It's kind of weird how they set that up.
So I'm assuming Jericho beat that man, but did he like take turns running back and forth the commentary?
That would be funny if he did. That would be funny if he did commentary over the match. Like, get him, Chris. They
wouldn't do that, but like the idea is hilarious. You're right. The idea is hilarious.
Then we got Orange Cassidy and Trent against Penta and Commander. Fast-paced sprint match. Fun. I was totally into this. Return of Ray Phoenix came out here and showed up. Yeah. So hopefully he's ready to go soon.
Yeah. I wonder if they make them a trios when Pac's not around, like Lucha Bros plus Commander, but like Commander, given what he's done since he's been with AEW, like he deserves a little something. Has he faced Orange Cassidy yet?
I think he has.
Okay.
On one of those rampages, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, he's gotten better since he's been.
Yes, he has. He absolutely has. He's absolutely more than just a run the ropes guy at this point. Definitely.
So after that match, the Undisputed Kingdom music hits. Roger Strong and the Kingdom came out. Strong told Cassidy to take the glasses off. Question of becoming the international champion has become too much to him. He's taking tag team matches to defend the belt. Strong said the title belongs to him. He's coming for it. Cassidy said we can run it right now. Roddy took the shirt off and was like, yeah, we can, but we don't want to do that right now. You're going to wait till Revolution. So 6 weeks to set this up.
Yep.
I don't need a 6-week storyline between Roger Strong and Orange Cassidy.
I don't
either. So is he going to like face the members individually before they get there? There's going to be a lot of multi-man matches. I don't know. That's like, I understand. It's like, yeah, man, I know sometimes they do this stuff last minute and everything, but 6 weeks for Roger Strong?
Tony
I don't think we need that.
Tony Khan said, I will never hear another one of you goofy motherfuckers say that like there are no bills for my pay-per-views. Not only am I going a month early, I'm going a month and a half early. He already has 4 or 5 matches already on the docket, basically.
Yeah, Revolution usually gets a great build pretty much every year almost.
That man has had enough.
Renee was backstage with Hangman, whose mustache is growing out further by the week. Said you won't meet a soul on this planet that needs the AEW title more than he does, or that values it. Said in 2024 he's going to make that title his. He's going to keep it that way as long as he can. Renee then brought up Swerve, saying how Paige can't beat him. He said he doesn't think about Swerve at all, which was kind of funny. And also as he's not the world champ.
And also it's contradictory because, like, bro, we remember you saying that, like, you're going to make sure with your dying breath, you're going to make sure that man never won the title. Like,
lies.
It can't be both. It can't be both.
He's not the world champion. Samoa Joe is, and God be with Hook if he's the champion by the end of the night. So this is another, hey, they built up, or they had other people talking about Samoa Joe and Hook.
Yeah. Hey, so did we ever find out what Hangman did with the shirt that, like, Swerve gave little Hangman?
No.
Okay, just wondering. Just wondering.
Yeah. I hope it's getting worn. I hope it was put to good use. Then all of a sudden, we just got like one of the most emotional moments in pro wrestling history out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it was the 1 year anniversary of Jay Briscoe's death. Mark Briscoe comes out on stage, and I was aware of it, and it was just like I saw the screens, and it said Mark Briscoe on one side, and then Jay Briscoe on the other side, and then Mark walked out, and it hit me for the first time that Jay Briscoe's not walking out with him. And he said he was out here to represent the baddest tag team on the planet, them boys, the Briscoe brothers. Tragically, 1 year ago, he passed, talked about his nieces were in the car, and said the doctors said that they'd never walk again. And then all of a sudden, little girl comes walking out on stage with the rest of the family. Mark says God's on the throne. They won't stop because they can't stop. He thanks everybody from the bottom of their hearts, hugs the kids. And it was just like, damn, bro.
What are y'all doing to me, man? Like, okay, so up to this point, watching and covering AEW at this point for basically 5 years, AEW has never put on or done anything that's made me cry until they brought out the damn girl that was told could never go out and walk. Like, this is one of those things where it's like, have you ever seen those around the holidays, they pull out these new videos of like families, mothers and kids that are that have their dads like stationed in the military, and then all of a sudden they surprise them and they see him, they run to his arm and they're boo crying all that kind of stuff, and they see their dogs and that kind of stuff. Like, for me, that shit turns me into a blubbering mess anytime I see those. Like, no, I can't handle it. It just overwhelms me emotionally. This is one of those. It was like, bro, what are you? I know it's a feel good moment. I was like, I don't mean what are you doing in a bad way. I'm like, bro, like this is
like, look at my face, like like look at my face, like look what you've done to me, like
yeah, like this was fucking amazing, and like 10 out of 10, my favorite segment of the show.
Then they replayed the Jay Briscoe tribute video from last year, and it was just like heartbreak, man. Yeah. Just absolute heartbreak, tragedy. Like, and
because I had no idea that his daughter. I was in she was in the crash. I had no idea that she couldn't walk. I had no idea.
Yeah, man. Brewhaven says it's a rare example of something classy in wrestling. This was just there's no words to describe what this felt like watching it in the moment. You can't go back and watch this show and get that same feeling that we got watching it. We didn't know it was coming. It obviously wasn't advertised or anything like that, but yeah, it was
great.
Pretty powerful. Something else that was great. Renee Paquette was sitting backstage with Matthew and Nicholas Jackson and their mustaches. They requested that Renee refer to them by their God-given names, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. They are EVPs, and it's time to take this job more serious. Renee then brought up the temper tantrums and meltdowns with rumors, and then Matt cut her off and said all the rumors is fake, but let's pretend they're true. He said, what would she be willing to lose to maintain a thriving wrestling company called AEW? You know, Renee wasn't here at the beginning. If it meant losing friendships, ruining their reputations, Matt said, hell yeah, they do it all over again. And asked Renee if she got her paycheck this week and says, you're welcome. What would you do to protect your baby? You just had a baby with John, right? And then Matthew said they used to say something like change the world, and they were doing that until they lost their way and the culture changed and toxicity seeped in. Matthew then said it was due to leaning into self-serving, superficial superstars, and says that Sting is anything but that, and he's hopeful that the way, people talk about Sting is how they talk about them years from now. Sting's the last of a dying breed, but in order to change the world, they got to say goodbye to Sting and anyone like him. Renee then asked, is that an official call out for Sting's last match? Nick then looked at the phone and said, as an EVP, we can pull some strings, and then they walked off. James, much like Jack Perry, the Young Bucks have convinced people wrestling is real. Because, boy.
Yep.
Bro, the Bucks.
The funniest part is,
amazing.
The last time we had seen them before, they went on their hiatus was them throwing a temper tantrum after they lost to the Golden Jets. This is playing on that. But people don't remember that part. They're thinking of, some backstage shit they didn't even see. It's fucking great.
Bro,
people say
they're light years ahead.
They say that these motherfuckers don't know how to work, and they're working you. All right, man.
This is how I can't count how many comments. This is how they really are. Everyone's gonna finally see it. James, this is why pro wrestling will never die.
Rich.
Because of those people, pro wrestling will never die.
Motherfuckers left and right will hop on the internet to say the Young Bucks can't work. Their shit looks fake, this and the third. And then in the same breath, and then in the same day, they get hot over them doing this, and it's it don't matter when they get you this hot. It don't matter if the wrestling that they do in the ring looks real to you or not, because you are worked and you want them to lose. You were getting worked.
You're bought in. This shit ain't about bro. They have people thinking this is them. This is the real them. Everyone's gonna see this secret that that all these people don't know. It has finally been exposed. They're exposing themselves.
Rich,
I'm just amazed that the Matt and Nick Jackson have found a way again to do it, and I don't think the detractors of the Young Bucks have not figured out the best thing to do is leave them alone, because when you start poking them with a stick and hitting them with something we can spin this, because they're gonna lean into it. Y'all said they did too many super kicks. They're gonna just start super kicking motherfuckers to death. Right. You said you didn't like their ring gear. It got more outrageous. You didn't like their wrestling style, how fast paced it was, all the elaborate sequences. They're gonna come up with the most incredible dual tag moves you've ever seen.
Terrible facial hair every single time.
Yes, the Vince McMahon mustaches.
We don't know for sure, but when
we don't know for sure.
But when Josh Smith from Keepin It Strong Style mentioned, I was like, that probably is what it is. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
These guys are fucking great.
It's fucking hilarious. And you look at the context of what he's saying, and it's this isn't a John Moxley promo. This isn't some Hangman promo. This isn't some Swerve or Samoa Joe promo. It's a really good promo, but the reaction to it is y'all are going to look back in 2-3 years and say they not good promos. It's bro, do you remember what happened when they did this? You're forgetting.
Anarchy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And also, Rich, what a percentage chance that they win? I think they should be favored to win, but I would not be shocked at all if Sting beat them.
I think Sting and Darby are going to win the titles before the event, so I think the Bucks are going to win.
I didn't know,
but because they played like some video package, like something like noting with Sting and Darby, like noting about the tag belts and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be shocked if they picked them up like on an episode of Collision or Dynamite before then, and then it's like, okay, we'll bring these belts into it, and then the Bucks will main event for the tag titles. The Bucks will perhaps win the tag titles, retire Sting, and be the first tag team main event and all that stuff. And all the right people will get mad, and all the right people got mad on this. Jeremy sent a tweet out that caught some traction and had people swarming on his mentions. But yeah, just amazing. Like, there's so many people that are against these guys, and they're all going to get taken to the cleaners by two of the greatest workers that ever lived, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. Holy shit, this is great.
It's funny, it's really funny.
Then we got Switchblade, Jay White and the Guns against Mogul, Embassy, Brian Cage, the Gates of Agony. Thought their red and white gear looked hard. I enjoyed this match. I thought this was this reminded me of a really good, like, high level, like, road to 6-man match.
Well, Gates of Agony was just over there.
Yeah, Gates of Agony was just over there. Yep. And I think, like, as Swerve has elevated, like, the group is, like, getting more chances, to be on TV. They're going to be against the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn this week for the other trios belts, but they dropped the ROH belts to Jay White and the Guns here. And the Jay White and the Guns got, new music as well, and that almost was like, damn, I almost want to freestyle on this shit.
Yeah, I like the music. At first, I thought like, okay, I noted it, and then when the Okada news dropped later in the week, I was like, wait, is this like some? All right, Okada's going to New Japan. All the Bullet Club, and I didn't remember them saying anything about Bullet Club goes like anything that says Bullet Club related or else. We're pulling off AEW. We're sick of this shit. You have taken the worst or the last one you ever gonna take from us. What else working with you? We're done with this relationship. But it's me, playing in my mind. So it's interesting to note that the music, but yeah, like, good change. Obviously, it does fit with, like, the part where it seems they're returning babyface. They're going to do the whole Gun family thing. So yeah, like, trying to be a happy ending or whatever else. And I'm sure, like, they're all going to, get together and they're going to fight Undisputed Kingdom, and, like, one of their first feuds get Undisputed Kingdom off the ground.
Just two announcements for Dynamite. Edge and Minoru Suzuki will be commercial free, and Thunder Rosa and Red Velvet was booked. Pick a side, James.
I don't know what you mean.
Moving on.
Do you care to elaborate?
No.
Okay.
But Jay White and the Guns got the win.
Play hard.
Yes. I'll enjoy the activities. We got Adam Cole backstage.
Quality match. I think Red Velvet is, like, underrated in the AEW Women's Division, and, like, Thunder Rosa is Thunder Rosa. So, like, this could be, with these Aminata matches of late, like,
she's been awesome.
Hey, this is not the Saraya division that we had last year. This is a lot better, and, like, even Saraya is contributing to helping push storylines forward in the AEW division. Like, things are you look everywhere and it's like things are getting better everywhere you look. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw there was good news about Kenny Omega that came out. They were saying he's been pumping full of antibiotics, and is not looking as bad as it once did. They're still reevaluating him within 7 weeks. And the decision for surgery will be made then. If he doesn't need it, he could perhaps be back much sooner than anticipated. So, best wishes goes out to Kenny. So, Brewhaven saying, Kenny, take my intestine. I'm sure, there, somebody else could volunteer, theirs. They ain't using it for Kenny.
let's just move on.
Adam Cole is backstage with Wardlow, and I like how this was tucked into 45 seconds into hour 2. You notice the that shit started opening the show. Now it's just in these other little parts. Like, nice. We don't have to make the MJF part make any more factors into this. Nothing. Cole said Wardlow hasn't scratched the surface of what he's capable of. Being with Undisputed makes Wardlow unbeatable. He's going to go down as the most dominant AEW wrestler of all time. Wardlow's going to mow down everyone until nothing's left, and the AEW World Belt is the property of the Undisputed Kingdom. Wardlow then just said, boom.
Yes, he also mentioned that, like, Cole and Wardlow are both, like, have designations on the AEW World title. I was like, oh, so, like, you're just doing MJF and Wardlow again. While at the same time, while you're doing this, you have Killswitch / Luchasaurus and Christian.
Someone got to pick. Like, someone got to diverge.
Unfortunate that Wardlow is stuck in the pattern he's already, got himself out of before.
Got Deonna Purrazzo against the Anna Jay.
Yeah.
Tony Storm on commentary. I don't remember much of this match.
This match was decent. Like, it was, but most of it was like, all right, I'm going to do stuff to you, and then, like, I'm going to leave openings for you to grab me and get your stuff in. Like, this was a Deonna Carey job. No knock to Anna Jay. She acquitted herself well. But, like, just watching the matches felt like this is a Deonna Purrazzo production, and good match. It's not like some 3 1/4 thing. It's like some 3 flat thing, but it was a good match, and that's all it needed to be. And it acquitted or showed that, like, Deonna can, like, footwork, quickness. She has all that stuff that we've already seen out of her. And, like, let's try to show her as an impressive new challenger for Tony Storm. And they're telling the story of, like, they used to know each other, and Tony Storm's psychosis, or whatever you want to call it, craze, mania, has,
what's happened to you?
It's turned to a different person. And, yeah, like, nice little quick story. So interested to see their match.
Deonna Purrazzo was on Talk Is Jericho last week. So check that out if you're interested. She basically caught the interview after the match, and, they did the whole call out. It was funny.
Tony Storm mentioned at some point about punching somebody in their box. I fucking died.
Yeah.
I haven't heard someone refer to a mouth as a box in years. Like, since high school. This shit was fucking hilarious.
She called Purrazzo an artificially tan hag,
yes.
Invoking the Stardom language, the official Stardom language.
High schoolers in Stardom be calling people hags.
Yeah. So then we got Private Party versus Top Flight. The return of Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy as a team against Darius and Dante. Private Party ended up cheating to get the win. Mark Quinn did not look like himself. Obviously he hasn't been in the ring for like a year. I think he had a neck injury, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, he looks like a vastly, like, different, like, he doesn't have the springs that he had. Like, some of the, like, I was watching his sequences, and I remember him doing the, just run out the ring for the dive on both directions, and he just used to jump so much higher. He was a much smaller human, period. The guy's 5 years older now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to take him a little while to get back into ring shape, like the rust, like, really showed here, I thought.
Yeah, but I still thought that even while that happened, like, it wasn't as drastic like when Darius first came back.
Yeah. So, like,
this is a totally different human being right now. Like, is his career ever on a bounce back? He's better now, but it was like, whoa, this is different. So, these things, these guys come back earlier. Just because they're cleared to wrestle does not mean they're 100% back. They're just back well enough to where, like, it won't happen again unless something bad happens.
Yeah. So regular work for these guys. Like Private Party, I think, is a team that's like kind of on the clock now. Like I think Isaiah should be commended for holding it up as much as he did, and like being someone I think that fans care about. Has this great thing where he's putting these do-rags on white people's heads, and you know, bringing the respectability of do-rag History Month, you know, with him.
And the funny part is, like, I remember, I think he put one on Garcia like a year ago, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then, like, you know, he's putting do-rags on people in the crowd. He put do-rags on the Hardys, and then he put one on Lexi Nair on Collision. I fucking howled. Like,
they have to start selling the Private Party do-rags. They have to sell the do-rags,
bro. If he starts putting do-rags on random, look, when he puts a do-rag on Renee Paquette, I'm gonna fucking die. All right, I'm gonna fucking die of laughter. Okay, like Renee already gave me an all-time meme the way she stared at Saraya this week, but like when they put that do-rag on this blonde white Canadian woman, I'm gonna fucking die screaming laughing. It's gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be hilarious.
So I think Private Party needs to really try to get over here, and
this they shot.
This is a shot. This is time. Like they've been around, you know, and they don't want to get surpassed because there's a lot of people there. So like,
and also the tag division needs to be revitalized, and like them being back, Top Flight being back. You have what's going on Collision with FTR and House of Black. Like, you know, the Young Bucks are back now. Like it might, you know, Young Bucks are back, so it's time to actually do tag team wrestling again.
Thank God.
Outside FTR on Saturdays. So, yeah.
Big video package about Sting and Darby Allin's history. They said they want to win the AEW Tag Team Championship. And then after that, we got Samoa Joe versus Hook. This was sensational. This was like a stand and start pumping your fists kind of match. I will say that if you were looking for me, I was looking, all right, is Hook ready to be like moved up a level? Maybe. I feel like I don't know. This was like a specifically kind of structured match.
It's still a storytelling match on the awesomeness and the size difference in the, you know, it's one of those matches where it's like, all right, does that mean that he can go out there and best Super Juniors and do this? No.
Right. Or like, you know, with a contemporary person, and then they just try to have a great match. I don't think we got the answer to that, but what we did get was like very exciting. Joe played his role to perfection. Hook's kick out at 1, phenomenal. I thought it was really cool when he basically was like, come fight me or whatever, like still, you know, ask for more. Joe slammed his ass through that table, and it was like, that shit was like some whiplash, like a motherfucker.
He slammed through the table, and he didn't slam him like flush, so like most of him landing was on his tailbone. You could tell that like Hook his back was fucked up. Like, I don't know if you ever landed on your tailbone hard or bruised your tailbone. That shit fucking hurts. And like the way that he fell, and I saw him fall, and I saw he reached for his back, I was like, oh, buddy, I've been there. I feel for you right now. I feel your pain. Yeah, man, it was a really well put together match and thought out match and everything, and well executed and all that kind of stuff. And you know, this is a plus in the cap for Hook and for Joe's title reign, and for Hook. This is the first time he ever got, you know, really pulled up to the big boys table, you know, especially since All In. So like
he
All In
never
thing, this was a real, these have been 2 good moments for him that like kind of been forgotten because of like the Jack Perry thing is weird. So yeah,
he should never appear on screen with Danhausen again. Like some of the, you know, the coolness of Hook just feels like it's like it wasn't where it once was. And I think,
well, that's because he was a novelty at first, and I was like, he seems cool, but it's also like, it also feels like he can't talk. That was me. Mm-hmm. No, people didn't notice that part. He's like, oh, he's cool. He's a twerp or whatever else. And I was like, all right. Like, when he's gonna start matches. And like we still haven't really gotten to have too many matches, but like the match we have gotten, like he's held up his end of the bargain. So that's all you can ask for.
Yeah. This was, had a little bit of the Undertaker Jeff Hardy kind of layout here without Hook being nearly as spectacular as Jeff Hardy. But this thing I think was more about like hanging in there with somebody. Like it was a look at where Hook could be, 5 years from now. Yeah. Like, I mean, he wouldn't be in that situation.
5 years from now, I hope his strikes are better. His strikes suck, but it's neither here nor there in the match world. Like, hey, they ain't end ball and be all. You can be a great wrestler and have great strikes. Like Sammy Guevara, I think is a great in ring performer. I think his strikes are decent or good half the time. So doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah,
but luckily, Sammy got the whole thing where he crazy and he flies. Hook ain't got that, so he kind of needs his strikes to actually be good. Then over for this shit to work.
This one popped a number. Obviously, there was like the attention of the wrestling world was on this match. The Tony Khan tweet strategy proved to be kind of successful here. That's a feather in Joe's cap as a champion. You can do some good business under him. Yeah. People believe in him.
You got to keep having Joe wrestle dudes that weigh less than 200 pounds.
I think we learned that with Darby Allin thing last year.
Well, I mean, this further cements is where I'm getting at. Like, if you get him in the ring with someone that weighs less than 200 pounds, you got a shot. You're gonna have a great match. Cause it's like almost like a Lesnar factor thing, right?
Unless it's Adam Cole.
You're right. You're right. You talking about the old shit, right? Yep. You talking about the old shit.
Someone with no discernible athletic gifts, or
Adam Cole ain't finna crash and burn bump for you. Nah, not finna happen. Yeah. Too many years as being for all that now. Nah.
Yeah.
You see, there's gray in that beard.
Yeah.
Look, CCW Adam Cole might have had some for you. Like, he'll give you bumps through the necks of chairs and shit, but like he ain't finna splat and bump. Like he ain't finna do the Sasha Banks Mayu with Tiny bumping. That ain't happening.
Yeah, Hook and Joe, pretty successful. This crowd was hot all night, and I tell you, like, there's something like with I think when AEW is going well, Twitter gets hot. I think in a certain fashion, and it got hot in that fashion, and then all the the people that basically all the bad faith stuff starts starting up, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the tweets I want to see. I want to see people bothered by this shit. And the rankings brought that out, the Samoa Joe and Hook stuff, the Bucks, the where's the story people. Oh man, they're full force. All that stuff. Feed it to me. I love it. Put that shit in cans. Let's go.
Yeah,
why the kick out at one?
Why the kick out at one? I was like, the kick out as one is to, like, they let you know that like the dude has the heart, the passion, and fighting spirit to get up when the chips are down, and so you remember him past his match as a reason to care about the guy the same way. Like if he had just kicked out at 2, would have done the same thing. The kick out at 1, it gives you even more of a rush because like. You could expect him to kick out at 1. Or you could expect him to kick out at 2. Kicking out at 1 is like, whoa, shit. So, like, yeah, man. Like, I'm sorry, man. What was one of the best moments of AEW last year? It was Kenny Omega kicking out a One Wing Angel at 1.
Yep.
Like, sorry, it's here to stay. Sorry, man. If you look, go to Peacock.
Look, we saw Seth Rollins try it. We saw him try it like a couple months ago, and that shit didn't work.
When?
People didn't react. I don't know what match it was. It might have been against Nakamura. I don't remember because Seth Rollins matches don't stand out like that. Like
that's funny.
But yeah, he definitely tried it, but I just don't remember against who. Nakamura, they're saying, okay, yeah. But good God, like, yeah, man, this is what I want. I want people to be uncomfortable with this shit. This shit ain't for y'all. Like, so, well, yeah, I have nothing else.
It's just weird, man. It's like, I don't get it. Well, I mean, if you don't get it, that's one thing, but like, can you at least acknowledge that the crowd lost its fucking marbles when that shit happened?
It's like it is,
I don't get me wrong, like, look,
they watching on mute.
Rich, like, like when MJF does that second rope tombstone power driver that motherfuckers kick out all the time. What do I always say? That shit's fucking dumb. But what happens every time it happens? The crowd pops and they can't believe that someone kicked out of it. I'm like, he's never beat anybody with it. Whatever. People pop for it. It works. Kicking out one works. Sorry. Sorry, man. Like, and if you want to see a WWE match where it works, I suggest you pull out that Kota Ibushi versus Cedric Alexander. It worked then, and that was the E.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Amazing. But yeah. So I don't know how we're gonna do this next week. I got a dentist appointment next Monday, so I don't know if I'll be talk mood. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta get some fillings. That stinks. So hopefully I'll be ready to go. So there will be no live stream next week, but there will be a podcast. So yeah.
Okay. That's it to the show, y'all. Thanks for listening. Be sure to rate us on whatever app you're using to listen to this with. If you're watching from the stream, you can donate to the show by going to our podcast show notes and clicking on the link to Red Circle. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style. You have All Things Elite. You have Imp's WWE Adventures. You have Tunnel Talk. You have Russell Art with Chris Things. And you have the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. We'll be sure to get back to you guys over the weekend on whether or not Rich will be able to talk after he's been drilled in the mouth. Later, y'all.